Hello and welcome again to yet another episode of Page 3 here at News 9 with me, Sakshi Singh Litoria. An action-packed episode is waiting for you. So without any further ado, let's head straight towards our first segment of Nostalgia Nuggets. Today we will be telling you the story of our beloved Ed Sheeran. You must be seeing those reels of Sapphire on your Instagram feed, right? Let me tell you more about him. Before he was selling out Wembley Stadium and topping global charts, Ed Sheeran was just a red-headed kid with a backpack and guitar and nowhere to sleep. Yes, you heard that right. The man behind hits like Shape of You and Perfect, in fact, very recent Sapphire, once spent nights curled up outside Buckingham Palace. And no, this is not a publicity stunt, it's a real part of his story. Let's rewind to the late 2000s. Ed Sheeran was still a teenager, hustling around London with dreams bigger than his bank balance. He was playing tiny gigs at pubs and open mics, sometimes performing 3 or 4 sets a night. And while most young artists head home after their gigs, Ed Sheeran often did not even have one to go back to. For about 2.5 years, Ed lived what he later described as a quote-unquote semi-homeless life. Not homeless in the traditional sense, but couch surfing, crashing on friends' floors, and yes, even sleeping rough when he had no other option. One of his favorite makeshift shelters? The heating duct under an arch near Buckingham Palace. He would curl up there when all else failed. And when it was not the palace's pavement, it was the London Underground. Ed would ride the cycle line all night just to stay warm and safe. No one knew at that time that this quiet guy with a guitar and a hoodie was about to become one of the world's best-selling music artists. But here's the twist to his story. Ed never saw this period as a curse. In fact, it inspired some of his most emotional early tracks, including one literally titled as quote-unquote homeless. The hunger, the isolation and the resilience from those years shaped his songwriting and taught him how to connect with the fans on a raw human level. He's also been honest about the mental toll. In his autobiography, A Visual Journey, Ed Sheeran opened up about how lonely and exhausting all of those nights were. But instead of giving up, he dug in, performing, writing and refusing to let the circumstances define his future. And here's the ultimate poetic twist to his story. A few years later, Ed Sheeran was invited back to Buckingham Palace, not to sleep on the pavement, but to receive an MBE from the Prince of Wales for his services to music and charity. Let's talk about the full circle over here, right? So the next time you hear one of Ed Sheeran's chart busters, remember, behind that smooth melody is a story of grit, street nights, cold benches, and a dream that refused to die down. Now it's time for our second segment, Pick of the Week by Page 3 here at News 9. We are suggesting you to head straight towards the theatres and watch Sitaare Zameen par. Why so? Let me tell you more. Zameen Par hit the screens back in the year of 2007, it did not just tug our heartstrings, it yanked them, tied them into a knot and left us reaching for tissues. Remember, it was a game changer, peeling back the curtain on learning differences with honesty, warmth and whole lot of heart. Aamir Khan, in his director-actor avatar this time around, managed to strike that rare balance between entertainment and also impact. Now, almost 2 decades later, he's back with Sitaare Zameen Par, a film that echoes that earlier triumph but walks its own slightly less emotional path. This time around, the spotlight shifts from school kids and dyslexia to a group of neurodivergent adults who find themselves in a basketball court with a coach who is, well, not exactly thrilled to be there with them. Adapted from the Spanish film Campeons, Sitaare Zameen Par has stayed fairly loyal to the original plot, but with an Indian twist to it. The humor, the emotional beats, and even the stereotypes are tailored to suit our desi sensibilities. And while it's sincere in its efforts, it does not quite grab you by the soul the way its predecessor did. At the center of it all is Gulshan Arora, played by Aamir Khan himself, a hot-headed, short-tempered, self-important junior basketball coach who lands in trouble for his less-than-stellar people skills. As a punishment, he is handed the job of coaching a team of intellectually challenged adults. You can guess how he reacts, of course. There's skepticism, discomfort, and a fair bit of awkwardness beautifully portrayed through the scenes. But as the story progresses further, so does Gulshan. From being a man who cannot connect to anyone outside his comfort zone to someone who finds family in the most unexpected of places. The team he coaches is a delightful mix of personalities. Sunil, Sadbir, Lotus, Sharmaji, Guddu, Raju, Bantu, Golu, Kareem and Hargovind, each with their unique quirks and in fact charms. These characters are not just background noise or comic relief, they are the heartbeat of the film. What's more refreshing is that the actors portraying them bring a very natural, unfiltered energy to the screen, making it hard not to root for them. Amir Khan, as always, Mr. Perfectionist, brings a certain watchability to his performance. He plays Gulshan as a man many of us have probably met in our lives, a person who's technically good at his job but lacks emotional depth. Watching him slowly and in fact sometimes stubbornly evolve is where the film actually finds its most meaningful moments. Janelia Deshmukh lends a grounded calmness to her role, while Dolly Ahluwalia steals a few scenes as Gulshan's no-nonsense mother who just wants her son to look beyond himself for once. The film also deserves credit for how it navigates the Indian social context, especially the way neurodivergence is viewed through the lens of shame, misunderstanding or pity most of the times. One of the most moving moments comes when Gulshan starts to realize that this team is not broken at all. They are not here for your sympathy. They are just wired differently and happy in ways he would never allowed himself to be. The line "Sabka apna apna normal hai" in fact becomes a very gentle yet powerful reminder for all of us that empathy does not require a master degree or a PhD, just an open heart. Now let's also talk about the not so great bits about the film. The first half, it's extremely slow, very slow. It takes its sweet time setting things up and you might find yourself wondering if the film plans to shift gears at all. Thankfully, the second half picks up the pace once the emotional stakes get higher and the team starts feeling like, well, a team. Also, while the performances are excellent across the board, the emotional resonance feels a bit calculated here. Unlike Sitaare Zameen Par, which had raw original energy, this one leans a bit too heavily on the structure of campions. You can see the beats coming from a mile away, which is very predictable, which makes the emotional impact feel a little muted, especially for viewers who have seen similar stories play out before. But despite its flaws, there's something undeniably endearing about Sitaare Zameen Par. It does not shout its message, but nudges you gently towards it. It celebrates lives that are often left in the margins and gives them space to shine without making them object of pity. That's no small thing in the mainstream Indian cinema, right? So should you be watching it or not? Yes, definitely. Just maybe not with the same expectations you had while walking into Sitaare Zameen Par in the theatres. It might not bring you to tears, but it will likely bring a smile on your face. The story may be familiar and the emotional beats might not land well with seismic impact, but there's honesty in its heart and sincerity in its soul. And hey, it reminds us of all something very important, right? Empathy is not just an emotion, it's a skill. One we could all use a bit more practice at. Time for our entertainment wrap of the week, where we bring you the nation and global headlines from the entertainment world. So take a look. Diljit Dosanjh faces massive ire for Sardarji 3, starring Pakistani actor Hania Amir and others. Movie makers have decided to skip the Indian release, but the movie will be released in Pakistan. In good news for Akshay Kumar, Vishnu Manchu and Mohanlal fans, the Central Board of Film Certification has approved the Telugu film Kannappa with UNA 13+ certificate. Film will be released on Friday. Bobby Sherman has died at the age of 81. The former teen idol passed away at his California home on Tuesday, which was 24th of June 2025, 3 months after it was revealed that he had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. His wife, Brigitte Poblon, has revealed. Sources said John Abraham reunites with director Abhishek Sharma for the big budget superhero film Monkey Man, backed by producer Mahavir Jain. Amir Khan met President Draupadi Murmu in Rashtrapati Bhavan. Amir Khan was in New Delhi to attend the special screening of his latest release, Sitaare Zameen par. Ranveer Hooda goes almost bald in a new avatar. Fans are speculating if the new look is for any upcoming film. Blackpink's Rosé collaborates with TikTok star Alex Warren on a new single, On My Mind. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise reunite at F1 premiere in London after over 2 decades. BDS's Sugar donates 5 billion won to Autism Centre, launches music-led therapy program. The donation was made to Seoul's Severance Hospital, which announced the upcoming opening of the Min Yoongi Treatment Centre, named after Sugar's real name. Restored Sholay with original ending and deleted scenes premiered at Italy's Cinema Ritrovato Festival, marking 50 years of the iconic Bollywood film. And last but not the least, it's time for an exclusive conversation with my favorite, and in fact everybody's favorite, Arjun Rampal. Take a look at what he has to say to Page 3 on News 9. Arjun, could you tell us about the highly anticipated and ultimate showdown we will see in Rana Naidu 2? How did you exactly prepare for such a pivotal moment?
How did I prepare for it? It was kind of work in progress. It had to when Sundar, who's the producer of the show, approached me. I watched Rana Naidu the series, and I kind of really liked it, And I was like, wow, this is very progressive. It's very cool. I love the protagonist because he isn't, just Mr. Goody Good Shoes. He comes from a very layered space. His character was extremely layered. And at the same time, the way they've been able to create that thing between father and son, uh, and keep the emotional quotient going, because that's very important. So when Sundar had approached me for it, I said sure. And then Karan and Anshuman came down to Goa to meet me, and we discussed his show first, what he done, Rana Naidu, and I was like, okay. And then
Right.
I said, what are you going to do with season two? So he said, that's exactly, like if you come on board, then we're looking for this one guy who really has to stand up against Rana. And so I said, listen, and then we kind of left it there. I said, I'd be interested to work with you. And we just spent 2 days with each other discussing the films, what kind of stuff that we like to watch. In the middle, we discussed like maybe this character should go here, he should do this and that. And it was a nice time that they'd approached me because they were still fleshing the character out. They had him in the film, in the show, but they hadn't like kind of written it. And I felt that this was a great opportunity to play a character who comes from a world very far away from my own, and be
Right.
will have the liberty to, and if which to really push that envelope, you know. So not holding anything back and really going for it. If it's in terms of the aggression, the unpredictability, the way he speaks, his body language, everything. It has to be, and it should have a should not be too serious. So we wanted to create him with a certain amount of levity. Like when you watch like a Scorsese film and you see sometimes even the killing somebody sounds horrible. But yeah, we wanted to kind of do that. At the end of the day, what was important was that he should come from a place where he has a very strong belief system of his own. Because until unless I think as an actor you don't find that in your characters, you can never be real or believable. And I was so wonderfully surprised when the real scenes and the real thing came to me. And when I read it, and I just hugged him and I said, it's perfect. So when do we begin? And he said, we have about 2 months. I was like, that's perfect because I would like to gain a lot of weight for this film. And he said, well, why? And I was like, because Rana is big.
Yes.
and he's got this incredible screen presence. And I'm not a small guy, but I still feel small next to him. So I need to, balance it maybe like that. And it'll be something different for me too. And I think it'll give me something in my body language as well. So that was the fun part because I got to eat a lot and not do any cardio. But so I gained about 12 kilos for it.
Arjun, also, if you can tell me what exactly are your thoughts on censorship? We have already heard a lot about Punjab 95 and controversy around it, and with this season of Rana Naidu too as well being described as the more quote-unquote sanskari version. How do you exactly feel about the balance between creative freedom and restriction when it comes to, the series and its concepts as well?
With Punjab 95, it's sad because it's a true story. So I don't even know why there should be any censorship. But it is what it is. And I'm sure they have their reasons, which are strong enough, in terms of national security and this, that, and the other. Those are valid enough reasons. So one really can't uh, argue much. But in terms of Rana Naidu, I think what I really liked about the show in the first place, um, more than the profanity or the thing, was the equations that each person had with each other. I think that's what kept the show going really, really well. I'm not a big fan of profanity, but I mean, I have used the a very colorful palette in this show, and and I think I'm the only one who really has been given the liberty to do that, because the character allows itself to be like that. But otherwise, I feel, yeah, it is an emotional story. And until unless the emotion doesn't land right, the show just becomes extremely predictable, and the audience doesn't invest itself that much. But the minute you kind of engage with a kind of a relationship or an emotion of any character,
Right.
it becomes important. And it's so with even Rolf. He is not just your typical kind of stereotypical, bad guy. His belief system is very strong. He really loves his people. He wants to protect them. And because he believes that everybody around is not really going to stand up for them. So, is he a Robin Hood? No, I don't think so. But every gangster wants to believe that he is one.
So we have often seen this, okay, sequels or chapter twos of any of the celebrated or successful franchise often do struggle to match the success of their originals. Do you think the audience has become more critical over time when it comes to the viewership as well?
A lot more critical. I don't blame anybody. If me as an audience, if I sit down to watch something
Right.
and you get me into it, and especially as a season two, and I am a loyalist of season one. So if I try to go and watch a season two, and if it doesn't land well for me, I would get a little upset about it. Right. So yes, that is a challenge, and therefore, I mean, with season two, um, it was very important to yeah, just get it right, on every level. And I think that's a responsibility which all of us as a team were very, very aware of, you know. So you cannot keep that in the back of that is there in the back of your mind. So that is there in the back of your mind, but it should not become the reason why you don't like make your performance happen in a particular way, or you don't do some things in a particular way working under that kind of pressure. You made a good season one because of a particular belief that you had in it. You have to go with the same level of belief, but you just got to like spice it up a bit more. And I think that's what season two does. There are different characters that are being introduced into this world now. There's uh,
Right.
Kriti, there's myself,
Right.
there is uh, Dino who's in there, So, and they all are playing very, very interesting parts. So, uh, the dynamics between Rana and his family is very different in this. What he has at stake is very, very different in this. So, yes, it's very engaging. I think. Uh, I felt like in season one, it took a while to set it up because it takes you like 2 to 3 episodes to really get into it, you know. But, but I think in this one, in the second episode, you like, boom, bang on. In.
I mean, my next question might not sound very right to you, but we know it. Let's face it. Let's take the, bitter pill here that the Indian entertainment industry, as far as, the Hindi language is concerned, is not performing very well at the box offices lately. What's your take on pan-Indian projects? Do you really see them as the revival for Hindi entertainment industry, especially considering some of the recent projects have not performed very well on the box office despite of having an ensemble cast?
That's a really nice question, actually, and I would really like to answer it as um correctly as I can because that is what I truly believe. I really have always believed whenever I've met any person in the creative space, in any creative space, it could be from any country, okay? There is a language that we speak which everybody understands, that we understand amongst each other. There is a vibe and a vibration that we all have. So it was just a matter of timing, really. I think what's happened is that, uh, and I think social media somewhere is very, very, has played a big part in this of blurring boundaries. I think those lines got blurred with social media tremendously. Those lines also get, walls also get built up on the same platforms. That's phase two. But for it to have happened, okay, that interaction, that meeting of each other's cultures and styles and all of that uh, was going to be a very interesting mix of things, It was even happening there, but on a very different level. Now you're saying, why?
Right.
Why not just put them together? Use the same technicians, use the same thing. But if we're going to make a remake, everybody today it's going to be dubbed in so many languages. You would have seen it on some OTT platform or the other, and then the remake's going to come out, but you've already seen the original, so it kind of lost the whole purpose of anything. Until unless two different films are being made simultaneously and are being released simultaneously, you know. Um, and that's just because of a language. But truly, like, I mean, I've watched French films, Spanish films, German films, Korean films, I don't understand any of those languages, but they still draw you in. And if it's a good film, it will work. So that was going to happen. I think we just make a big hue and cry about it. No one has come here to save anybody. Nobody saves anybody. Okay, your work will save you, or whatever is the outcome of your work is going to be really where you will land.
Fair enough. Lastly, this is a curious question that comes in from within. How do you keep yourself so fit for demanding roles at this age? Any secrets or any strict routines that you follow?
Truly, I have nothing to do with it. That credit you must hand over to my parents. Okay, it's really, I have no part to play in that. But how I look after myself, yes. I mean, I am very conscious, and I've gotten even more conscious with time about just being aware of my body and looking after it, and and when I mean body, I mean myself as your body, mind, soul, everything. I think one has to kind of, it's important to introspect, important to be disciplined, important to take care, of uh, your joints, your limbs, your muscles, your muscle quality, your stamina, your speed, your flexibility, all of that. So uh, yeah, you got to work towards it. And so I swim, I do a lot of stretching, I do weight training, I run, I cycle, I go trekking, I go rock climbing. So yeah, I play paddle, I play tennis, I do a lot of sports. So I enjoy that. That's the way I keep myself fit. Try to be away from all the noise and keep my mind clear and be in a sense of
Right.
I guess, gratitude because of all that I've got in my life.
All right, Arjun, that was a very lovely chat. Thank you so much for speaking to Page 3 on News 9 with me, Sakshi Singh Litoria. It was lovely having you here with us for the conversation. And with that, it's a wrap from my side for this edition of Page 3 here at News 9. You do stay tuned. We will come back next week with much more entertaining episode and stuff on that. So till then, ciao, take care.